So the Switch 2 has 256 gigs of internal storage, which can hold a decent amount of games. But since I had so many games on my original Switch, it tried to transfer every single one of those over to my Switch 2. And there is over 256 gigs of games on here. So I ended up running out of space really quickly. And past a certain point, like about here, every single game isn't downloaded because I didn't have the space. Now, of course, before I got this, I thought about it and I would definitely need that extra storage. The issue is that the Switch 2 uses a new format of SD card and there's not very many of them on the market. And the biggest they possibly go right now is 1 terabyte. And it's expensive. There's only 2 1 terabyte cards, one from GameStop and one from Lexar. And the Lexar one is 200. I think GameStop is about the same. But the Lexar one like 2 months ago went down to 188. And so I just bought it because it's saving 12 bucks. And I thought stock would be really bad when Switch 2 came out anyways. It was a pre-order and it said it would arrive by June 5th, the same release date as the Switch 2. But I ordered this on Amazon. And of course, with it being Amazon, June 5th rolled around and it was delayed indefinitely. So I contacted Amazon support about it and then they told me it would be here in about 2 months. So 2 months is way too long for me to wait right now. And not being able to play most of my Switch games on my Switch 2 is kind of annoying. So I ended up caving and I found this. And you can probably tell who this is by. It's folded, but you can see that logo. So let's open it. So I didn't even know Walmart made these newer type of SD cards until just the other day, basically. And they are super cheap compared to the competition. I'm not sure if that means they're gonna be worse quality or what. So with me being impatient, I bought a 512 gigabyte because that's as big as Walmart makes them. The 512 gig SD card regular is probably about like $30, $40. The normal micro SD express cards, well, that's such a long name, around the 512 gig, they're about $100 and Walmart's was only 65. So much cheaper for some reason. No idea why, because it's still just as fast as all the other ones. And if you get a Switch 2, this is basically a necessity. And ironically, how I mentioned earlier, how I wanted to get the SD card because at launch, it would probably be chaos trying to get one. That is exactly what it is right now. It's pure chaos because none of these are available. This one went in stock for like a couple hours yesterday. So I ordered it right away and it just barely came. And so I'm glad I finally got it. They'll probably get cheaper as time goes on, but I want to play my Switch games now. And that is interesting. They have an extra layer of stuff on the back of the SD card. I'm gonna plot my normal 512 gig out of my normal Switch and just show you the difference. So this is normal micro SD and then there's like an extra layer on the micro SD Express. The micro SD Express gets like SSD speeds, which is crazy fast. And normal SD gets super slow speeds. So this is actually a really big improvement, but it costs a lot more. But you can see that form factor is the exact same. I'm pretty sure these are backwards compatible with original SD card slots, but I don't know why you'd buy one of these. They're overpriced anyways. And if you ever want to know if yours is Express or not, everything else on it looks the exact same basically, except this one says Express right there. As long as it says Express or EX on it, then it's the newer SD cards that work with the Switch 2. I got this 512 gigabyte when it was on sale, and I literally did get it because I knew the Switch 2 would come out soon, but we didn't know that it only took micro SD Express yet. And so I bought this for like 20 bucks on sale, which is really good. And then my Switch ran out of storage, so I just plopped it in here temporarily. And then we learned that the Switch 2 only took micro SD Express, so I guess this is just staying on my Switch. But yeah, let's finally give this thing some extra storage. I've been really needing it. And if you're wondering about my Amazon order, I still have it going and I'll just wait 2 months for when that comes and then I'll just upgrade to 1 terabyte and then I'll just have a spare 512 gigabyte express card. Sometimes you just need the storage right away. So I have 17 gigs free on the system memory. That's basically one game and I have a bunch. I should probably shut it down before putting the SD card in, so let's do that. So in the original Switch, it's just behind the crappy kickstand right here and then you just plop it in, which I always thought was weird. I feel like they should just have its own slot for it. Like on the Switch Lite, because it doesn't need a kickstand, the SD card reader is just its own little slot right here. And sometimes I feel like that might be better because if you just have like the kickstand open all the time, I don't know who does, but this is theoretical, then crap could get into the SD card fairly easily, I feel like. And so if it has its own slot like the Switch Lite that you never open up, I feel like that would be better. I'm pretty sure it's even worse than like the Steam Deck and stuff. The Steam Deck just has it, so you just put it in and it's constantly open. So I guess Nintendo is better than that. On the Switch 2, this is why I'm still complaining about it. It's still the same way. You lift up the kickstand and the SD card reader is right there. I guess it's a seamless way to put it somewhere so you don't see it all the time and it doesn't take up an extra slot you have to put somewhere. But you know, all that is tight. See, now whenever I open my kickstand, you're gonna see blue and white. Aesthetically, that's not very good either, but whatever. Let's hope this works. You can see the camera reflection so good. Use microSD Express card to update the system. Oh, it's mad at me. Gotta update it, that's interesting. I've checked before and there isn't a new system update, so this system update is only for if you have a micro SD express card. How long is this gonna take? Okay, yeah, I was about to say, it should be pretty quick. I don't think there's much to install. It probably is like formatting the SD card in that update or something. And now, moment of truth, let's go to system settings and free space, 476 gigabytes, let's go. Oh, I finally have free space, that's so nice. It's kind of funny how fast these SD cards are. They're slightly slower than the internal storage of the Switch 2, but then the actual game cards aren't even as fast. People have done speed tests with game cards, and the game cards are the slowest out of all of them. So maybe that's a bonus of digital games and the game key cards, is that at least they'll load up faster. Oh yeah, and speaking of those digital game key cards, you basically put the game card into your Switch 2, and then you have to just download the whole game. So the game card is just a key to the game. So in my opinion, why the crap would you even buy the game physical if it's just a key that you have to log around with you? You might as well just download it to your system, because even for game preservation, if you want it in the future, you would need Nintendo's servers to be online. So you're just cooked. So I would just buy it digital if you're debating between those two. And if you do get the game key cards, you're still gonna have to have a buttload of internal storage. So basically anyone has to have a micro SD express card. And Switch 2 games are huge. There's like the Split Fiction game, I think is the biggest one so far. And I think it's like 80 gigs on a Switch game, which is crazy. The new Mario Kart's only like 30 gigs and stuff, which is like 10 gigs more than Mario Kart 8. But yeah, if you need a micro SD express card, as I mentioned earlier, Walmart has the cheapest options if you want a 256 or 512 gigabyte. The 256 and the 512 gig are both way cheaper than any other brand, and it seems to be working just fine. I wish Walmart would make a terabyte version, because then it would probably only cost like $100 and I would totally buy that, but they've only made up to 512. But yeah, that's my storage situation on my Switch 2. Make sure to subscribe.